And she's like, I just wanted to say you have really pretty eyes. And I was just like, okay. I was like overcome.
And we are in the studio. KRIS Angelis is here. How you feeling? How's your day going?
It's going pretty well. Saturday, can't complain.
It's Saturday. It's a beautiful day. There's like no traffic in Los Angeles. That doesn't happen.
I know. What's going on?
And we're on the countdown. We're on the countdown to the Siren Hope. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, my album is coming out January 24th. It's called That Siren Hope. And that title comes from the idea that even though hope is supposed to be normally this like good thing, right, that leads you towards something or keeps you going in the dark, I started feeling like, based on some experiences over the last year or so, that hope is kind of dangerous, like, you know, the mythical Greek sirens that sing and like lure you in and then you just crash against the rocks.
Deep. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Like, that's really interesting. Like, how did you get to that mind process? I know that you had said previously that being on tour, you really put a lot of thought into this. You had a lot of time last year on tour, every state in the country,
yes,
which in itself is amazing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit more about that album. How did you get to that thought process of That Siren Hope?
Well, I just had some heartbreaks and experiences of feeling like, I really got my hopes up and then going, falling really hard when it didn't turn out the way I wanted to. And in a moment of, feeling kind of bitter, I guess, and or just sad or not wanting that to happen again, not wanting to be in that feeling again. That's basically what all of the songs on the album are about. I think that they do insert a little bit of hope. It's not all despair. But I got to that thought process by I was thinking about it one day and it just felt like, wow, hoping seems to be how I got here to this bad place. And it's like a siren.
New album, That Siren Hope, coming out January 24th. So you're on tour, you're going through heartbreak and everything. A lot of people, when you go through some sort of heartbreak, want to just stay inside, stay in the room. Would you say it was a benefit to you or made it more difficult to be on the road and dealing with something like that?
Oh, that's a good question. I have found that when I get heartbroken, yes, I do go through a little bit of the phase of like, I just want to do nothing. I just want to be a hermit. But more than that, I've actually found myself, I do something intense to distract myself. Like, one time I ran up and down all of the stairs in the Gator Stadium in Florida, which is a 90,000 seat theater or stadium. That really hurt. So then I was thinking about that instead. Or like last year, I went through something and I watched 52 movies in 1 week, and it was for a reason because I was on the
Netflix or
I was on the SAG nomination committee.
Okay.
So they sent me all these screeners, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to watch them all, and so I can vote. And then this time I was like, you know what, I'm going to play in all the states, and I'd wanted to do that anyway. And I feel like it's kind of a distraction. Yes, it made all of the driving by myself like existential dread thoughts, maybe a little deeper. But I think it's good to be moving in that state.
When you go through 50 states, I would imagine that you're going to end up with some stories. Is there any moment that really stands out to you on tour? I'm sure there's several, but if you could pick one, what's one that really you'll remember from that journey?
One of my favorite things from that tour was when I was in Alaska, and I got to go with some friends who live there, and they took me out camping to this glacier. Like, I'd never been backpacking before. We got all our backpacking gear and we climb up this mountain and down into where we were by a glacier, and there's no one else there. It's not like a fancy campground because apparently you're allowed to camp anywhere in Alaska, and we're just right next to this and this beautiful sunset, and I wake up to like pieces of the glacier falling down. It's sounds like thunder, which was also, thought-provoking in terms of climate change and whatnot. But that'll definitely be something that sticks with me for a long time. And you can see all the stars. There's no light pollution.
There's so much beauty in the country.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No.
Just give you a high five. Go America. All right. So there's so much beauty in the country that we're in right now. Absolutely. That it's you could go to a different part of the United States and feel like you're in 3 or 4 different countries.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much to see.
It is. I think that, yes, it's important to travel and find other cultures and stuff, but, people who live in Europe, they can go to another country like going to another county in California, and to another state. So I don't totally blame people who've never been out of the United States because it's vast, and yes, it's so beautiful. There's so many parts of it in states that I unfortunately didn't even think twice about. I'm like, oh, there's nothing there, like whatever. and I'm there and I'm like, this is gorgeous.
Yeah.
So much I didn't know.
KRIS Angelis is in the studio. The new album, That Siren Hope, coming out January the 24th. Exciting stuff happening. I was just at the AMAs not long ago, a couple weeks back, and I turned around at one point and I was eye to eye with Taylor Swift, who's very, very tall. I wasn't expecting her to be as tall as she was. And we were talking a little earlier today. You had a Taylor Swift experience as well. Yeah. What was that?
This is like a few years ago. I was in a building with my guitar. I was doing an interview kind of thing like this, and she was there for some reason too. She came out of the elevator at the same time as me, and she was with her whole team, and I'm just walking behind them, and I didn't realize it was her. And then she turns around, she goes, "Hi, are you a musician?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Hi, I'm Taylor." I'm like,
"Yeah, you are."
I'm KRIS, and I'm trying to be cool. I think I was pretty cool, but and then she just starts talking to me and asking me questions and stuff, and I was like, okay. And then her team people were like, "She has to go," and I'm like, okay, she's talking to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, well, nice to meet you. Bye. And I start walking away. And she calls out to me from down the hall, "Wait, KRIS, wait." And I'm like, "Yes, Taylor Swift?" And she's like, "I just wanted to say you have really pretty eyes." And I was just like, okay. I was like overcome because I wanted to compliment her back. But it was like too much. I was like, "I like your dress, I like your music, I like your Taylor Swift." And
You're Taylor Swift.
So and this is all in my head. And so then I was just like, thanks. It was really not the coolest that I've ever been, but
that's amazing.
She was really nice, and I thought that was really cool that she didn't have to talk to me. It wasn't like I was, meet and greet or something. She was just genuinely interested in like another musician. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I think that's one of the great things that I've seen of Taylor Swift is being able to connect with people that enjoy her music like that. I would imagine for you going on tour 50 states in 1 year, you got to connect with, just sharing your music with a lot of people and having that experience of performing live. What's that like for you to be on stage live and connecting with these fans that are enjoying your music?
Oh, I love it. I love performing for people who are there to hear the music, and that's why I really love doing these So Far Sound shows, because it's people who are there to discover new music and really listen, and I love sharing my stories too, not just the songs. I like to, connect with people in a way where they can feel like, oh, she's going through the same stuff that I'm going through or whatever. And it's really fun. It's really fun to make people laugh and feel things. And it's also weird because people come up to me after the show and they're like, "Oh, you made me cry." And I'm like, "Oh, God. Thank you." Like the only profession or life thing where you would thank someone that you made them cry. Because usually you should be like, "I'm sorry." Making someone cry isn't usually a good thing.
Guys, KRIS Angelis in the studio. The new album, That Siren Hope, comes out January the 24th. KRIS, you are a twin. The other half of you is where right now?
I think she's in Studio City, our house.
Studio City. Yeah,
she's also an actress. She's working on a film, it's coming out. It's called The Cleansing Hour. It's a horror movie, and it's really cool. But yeah, she's a fantastic actress, so you should go look her up.
Is she one of the first people that you would share new music with, or what is your process like when you do share new music that you've recently written or you're getting ready to record? What's that process for you?
Yeah, she definitely is one of the first people that I show things to. Her opinion really matters to me. In a way that's maybe not great, because like if she doesn't like something, I'm like, "Oh my God, I have to change everything." And my producer's like, "Calm down, like she's one person," But I usually share it with her. I'll share it with some of my friends. Oftentimes, I'm just sharing it with. I have a Patreon. I do live streaming, so I'll test out songs on there and just show my producer who tells me whether or not he wants to record it. Yeah.
I'm always interested to ask these questions. Because obviously I'm not a twin. Is there that moment, have you guys ever had one of those moments where you think something the other person is thinking, or felt something when they're not around, you're like, "Ooh, something's up," and then you call them? Is that a real thing, the twin connection?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's as intense as maybe people, it's not like we can actually read each other's minds. But yeah, we've had some of those moments where I'll be upset or something, and she calls me and she's like, "What's wrong?" stuff like that. But a lot of it's just about growing up together and knowing each other really well. Like, I'll be able to walk in the room and just look at her and be like, she's like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, well, should we? And other people are like, what is happening? Like, we're having a conversation without speaking.
I feel like it's a great scene from a sitcom, just walking in the door and saying, yeah, I know, and then just continuing to walk.
Can you believe it?
And you guys have had your fair share of sharing the screen.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, because you guys had some really interesting experiences on camera.
Yeah. Oh, we have done a fair amount of twin acting. One of the most fun ones was when we were in the Super Bowl commercial for Bud Light,
with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
With Arnold Schwarzenegger and Don Cheadle and a llama.
And a llama.
And we
Emperor Cusco was in the... Sorry, go ahead.
Who?
It's a Disney movie reference. Did The Emperor's New Groove, did you ever see it?
Yes.
Okay, yes, Emperor Cusco, he was a llama.
Yes, yeah. That's right. It was great.
I throw those deep track throw out sometimes. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so no, and it was a completely hidden camera, like real life situation. This guy didn't know he was in a commercial, and it was actually about an hour and a half long, and they edited it really down.
That's great.
And there was a scene where we went into a party and everyone there were twins.
Yes.
And that was really fun. We also got to be on an episode of Bones where we were conjoined twins. And
really?
Yeah, and we got into the biggest fight on the way to the studio.
Oh no.
On the way to set.
Next to each other.
Yeah, and we were like, we were so, she's like, you're not my sister anymore. I'm not talking to you anymore. And then we get there and we're like, everything's chill. Now we're going to tape us together.
Oh no.
And it was really funny because I was like, I'm hungry. I want to go get some food. I want to go to Crafty. And she just like, can't go unless you drag me. And I'm like, oh, that's what's happening.
That is amazing. So did you end up getting the food?
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
Guys, KRIS Angelis is in the studio. The new album, That Siren Hope, is coming out January the 24th, so be sure to go ahead and check that out. But before that, you're also going to be having an event at the Hotel Cafe.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
The Hotel Cafe, January 16th, 9:30 p.m. I'm playing with a full band, which I don't always do. My twin sister is going to be singing with me on harmonies. It's nice to have, your same voice
That's
harmonizing
amazing.
with you. We just had rehearsal today. Yeah, it's going to be fun. And the album is going to be there. The CDs, if you come to the show, you'll be able to get the album before, like a week and a half before it comes out.
That's amazing. If you're anywhere else other than Los Angeles, you can also pre-order the album, correct?
Indeed.
Yeah.
You can pre-order it even if you're in Los Angeles, because pre-orders, especially for an independent artist, make a big difference because they all count towards the first week sales, and that's how you get on the charts and stuff. So please pre-order it.
This is going to be the story of your life for that 2019 journey across America. What's the story that you hope come across when people listen to this album in its entirety?
I hope.
There it is. There's that word.
Yeah.
Maybe hope is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I called it that Siren Hope, because I think every song in the album has the word hope in it. But yeah, it's all the facets of hope, and I would hope that people would feel not alone and know that these feelings of heartbreak and feeling really down are normal and okay, and that through it, even you can delve into that and still come back out into the light and break the surface and find the place to put your hope that isn't going to let you down.
How are you going to spend January 24th once the album is officially out?
Probably just asking everyone to buy it, like celebrating on my live streams and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have a champagne.
TBD, to be determined.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, KRIS, I thank you so much for coming out to the studio today.
Thank you so much for having
being
me.
Here. Guys, go check out the album. It is coming out January the 24th. You can pre-order it now, so be sure to go do that as well. And big things coming up for you in the future. I appreciate you spending some time with us today.
Thank you so much. It was fun.